Proverbs chapter 13, and we're going to get into this series. Get ready to take some notes, man. I believe God's going to speak some things tonight. And aren't we in Proverbs 13?
Yeah, that's where we're at.
We're in 13?
We're in
on
13.
13.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right, yeah, all right.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it is a good one. Well, okay, fine. Don't tell me. Sorry.
Get ready, guys. This is what I live with.
Let's read verse 10 out loud together. Proverbs 13, verse 10. Let's read. Only by pride cometh contention, but with the well-advised is wisdom. I have discovered that there is a difference between loving someone and being in a loving relationship. There is a difference between having a deep, heartfelt affection for someone and then being able to exist peaceably with that person. And there's often a great frustration, a lot of times, with the people that you love the most. That love is not the question, because the person that you love greatly, that you would swap out an organ for or jump in front of a car for, whatever, they can be the same person that annoys you to the absolute. It's too early to say amen, brother. It's too early to say amen, you know. Oh, I don't want to ride home with you. First I take the sacrifice. What did you say? Speaking of annoying?
Speaking of annoying.
Okay. Cut her mic. But it's really not about the force of love only. It's about developing skill that you add to the force of love. This skill being based on understanding. And you become skillful in relating and in connecting to other people. And the force of love inside your spirit, particularly if you're born again, the Bible says in Romans 5:5 that the love of God has been shed abroad in our hearts. It actually pushes you through your discomfort. And it makes you keep going back, believing God for God's best. And on the way to God's best, you're believing for God's better. Because as people of faith, we just don't settle for broken stuff. And I think a lot of times the world just converts to accepting and enduring relationship stress. And I mean this, now we're talking maritally, and people always think maritally, but parent to child and child to parent, especially adult child to parent. Because you can, you know, it's like your children are these awesome things and then they turn into the Antichrist somehow. And you need an old priest and a young priest. And it's really the enlargement of their independence as they become a whole person. And you're kind of relating to them not as a parent anymore. You have to find a way to relate to them as a person. And the truth of the matter is, they may be just like a friend or a coworker, somebody that you just wouldn't naturally like in their personhood. Just might not, like if you chose them to go out, you know, to go on vacation with, you might not choose them as a vacation person. Simply because, I don't know if you have this, some people that you can be friends with, but you don't want a vacation with them because they're just difficult. It's just like, you know what? You got some people that everybody goes and everybody's agreeable, but they always got to be doing something else and always got to be going somewhere else. And I told them I'm working on a book that's called You Can Avoid Your Idiot Friends. And the truth of the matter is, and I really like the title, You Can Avoid Your Idiot Friends. It's that unless it's family, you can pretty much turn the world on and off. You know, you can just decide to tolerate the person that works with you because you know at 5 o'clock, goodbye, hey, can we hang out? No. I thought we were such good friends. No, we work in the same row of cubicles. That does not equal friendship. You know, why? Because I would never choose somebody as negative or as toxic or as, you know, as vulgar, as pessimistic or as critical. I wouldn't choose you as somebody that, you know, I'm here and I have to spend time with you, but when I have a choice of who I'm going to spend time with, you are not on the list. And I mean that only in the best way. See you tomorrow. But your key to more effective connection in any direction is this. What are they, like building something backstage, I guess? First of God's eat the sacrifice.
I think you're like on 5, so if you're getting to 25, you got about 20 more times.
You know what? Again, I'm surprised your mic is still working. As I was saying, can you all hear me? I don't know. Can you hear me? Okay, okay. Somebody said no. 3 things. Christ-likeness is your basis of growth. Christ-likeness is your basis of growth. You'll connect better to others as you become more like Him. And really, the area of Christ-likeness you refuse to develop is the open door to the devil that you fail to close. And I mean that if the devil knows this is still a temptation to you and that he can always get you right here, you're going to keep taking the same test. That can be a customer service test, a traffic test. You know, one of the ones that Connie had that she has overcome is filling out a form test, because she gets so frustrated that they make the boxes too small on a form. And I mean, I thought the first, 250 times she commented on it, I thought, and I'm not exaggerating, the first 250 times she commented on it, I thought it was like, oh, she's just bothered. No, she's angry that the idiot on the other side of this form got money to design this. And they didn't design it with enough space to even put the last name Smith. Am I not correct?
Correct.
Correct, okay. Eat the sacrifice. And believe it or not, you can actually shut the door to the devil by growing in Christ-likeness. Mm-hmm. Jesus said in John 14:30, the prince of this world comes, but he has nothing in me. In other words, there's nothing in me for him to attach onto. But if the devil knows traffic is where he can attach onto you, whatever the thing is, you'll continue to take the test. And it'll be with a cell phone company. And that'll be the very thing that the devil will use to steal your joy. And it'll always be a gnat in your life that steals your peace. And you'll wait on hold 25 minutes, and the phone will cut off, and you'll get somebody and get disconnected, and then you're going off on them because they speak a different language and all this other kind of stuff. And you, everybody's, oh, listen, I know saints. Saints of God that will absolutely blast something. Here's what you have to ask yourself. Whatever causes you to take off the fruit of the Spirit, mm-hmm. if your gentleness goes, your joy goes, your peace goes, your long-suffering goes, that is something that the devil is getting through, and it's just a card that he knows he can pull out. So the second thing now is, we have Christ-likeness, then a reduction of self. A reduction of self says, I am going to move my interest from being in first place. A reduction of self. The Bible says that we ought not to look on our own, but on that we ought to look on another's wealth. That we may not seek to please ourselves. Romans says, for even as Christ did not please himself. There's something about Christ-likeness that doesn't seek to please ourselves. Now, this is not a denial of self. The Bible says you love others as you love yourself. You have to love yourself, but it's when you constantly give your interests and your comfort the preeminence, you're going to continually walk in strife. You'll never escape it. And finally, is this refashioning of self. It's not you ceasing to be you, it's you becoming a better version of you. A refashioning of self. The cross of Christ requires us to become a better version of us. The cross of, excuse me, I'm sorry, I missaid that. The cross of Christ is for our salvation. Our personal cross is for our transformation. And your cross and my cross are different. the Bible tells us that whoever wants to be his disciple has to take up his cross daily. You have to take up your cross, not Jesus' cross. Jesus took up his cross one time, one day. We have to take up ours daily. And if you're highly opinionated, your cross is learning to hold on to your thoughts. If you're quiet and you never have anything to say, your cross is to learn how to give voice to what's going on inside you. If you're a take-charge type person, your cross is to learn to just let others be in charge. If you're mamby-pamby and never have any spunk or whatever, Jesus is going to tell you, step out a little bit and step forward. And, I mean, this is you becoming a better version of you. And a lot of times we want relationship prosperity and we think love is going to lead us there. But you can deeply love someone, a child, a parent, a spouse, a sibling, a friend, and yet live in consistent frustration because even though you have an inward love, you constantly live in friction, trying to connect. And one of the things you're going to have to realize, and this is something my mom told me, where the Bible talks about God will satisfy us with long life. Mm-hmm. You have to look at where the areas of your life and then rate your satisfaction. How satisfied are you with the way you and your spouse communicate? How satisfied are you on a scale of 1 to 10 between the way you and your children communicate? How satisfied are you on a scale of 1 to 10, in this area, that area? And then what are you and God going to do to see that your satisfaction increases in that area? I mean, Connie and I have had times in our marriage, and when I told you this last time in part 1 of this, where we would actually say, well, you already know we have communication issues. Now, it's not love. Love is not the issue. It's just that when it's time to go over money, it was like we were doomed for drama. And I mean, it would get personal. Or we'd have to plan out a schedule, and it was like, and it almost made us not even want to it's like we always wanted to stay off subject. Because we knew once we had this, it was like the thing in the side of the room that we put it off long enough, let's do it. And it would break down. And we decided that wasn't God's best. And the question wasn't, did I love her, did she love me? It was that we had to move into Christ-likeness, we had to move into reduction of self, and we had to move into refashioning of self, because I didn't want pockets of my marriage to be something that, well, it's cool, we love each other, but this right here is a mess. I'm an overcomer. Greater is he that is in me than he that is in this world. My faith is the victory that overcomes this world. God did not set me up to live a life where I had to tolerate certain levels of dysfunction. And listen, thank God I'm married to an overcomer who said, no. I don't want a marriage. And here's the litmus test that we have. I don't want a marriage in which my children are going to be in marriage counseling one day, premarital counseling. And the first thing the counselor is going to ask them is, so tell us about your parents' marriage. And I don't want what I always hear when I say, tell us about your parents' marriage. I wouldn't say they didn't love each other, but I would say that, they probably just more or less existed. You have to realize I'm raising up Mike and Olivia, and they are a future spouse and a future parent. And I'm either going to raise them with a generational blessing or environmentally passed curses, because they're going to adapt a worldview and they're going to say, well, this is how I've learned to talk about money, or this is how I've learned to get, things go at the dinner table, or and they're either going to embrace it or rebel against it, but one way or the other, it's going to shape who they are tomorrow. And so these are important subjects. And they're important subjects even if your children are grown, because you may be learning things now in the renewal of your mind that you didn't know when you were shaping their worldview. And you may have to have the rough conversations about, Mama didn't know what Mama knows now. But now that I know and I see you talk to your spouse the way you do, and I know where you got that from, but that's not God's best. And if I had it to do over again, I would have painted a different picture for you. Why? Because you're trying to eliminate curses. And trust me, it's not a devil attached to somebody that oil and prayer is going to get rid of. It's an ingrained pattern of thinking that they're going to have mind renewal to graduate out of. Now, is everybody here? Y'all gone to sleep, or what's the matter with you?
Spaghetti.
No, spaghetti. That's what it is. All right. Let's get into these things. You got anything to say on that before we go?
Going.
All right, here we go. We're talking about ineffective communication, and I'm trying to make this as fanatically practical as I can. So far, we've talked about a couple things. Number one, we talked about the discovery talker. Discovery talkers are people that utter sentence fragments, and they're interrupted by their real-time thoughts that are often answering their own questions. That's a discovery talker. That they're making statements, and while they're making statements, they're realizing the answer to their statements, and if they had just waited 2 seconds longer, they would have known the answer. They didn't even have to say anything. What are we doing for... Oh, that's right. You know what? If you just held on 2 seconds of thought before you spoke, you would have known this. Number two, we talked about the partial talker. Partial talkers, and I'm not going to go in detail. You just have to get the last CD or DVD. Partial talkers rely on their internal monologue as a part of the conversation. Partial talkers say 4 or 5 words that everybody can hear and 4 or 5 words that nobody heard, and they spoke a complete sentence. Only half of it was audible. It's a partial talker. It's somebody that, you know, partial talkers say things like, well, I was thinking that, you know, on Friday if we went down to the mall, then, you know, then what? Well, I was saying that they probably would have a sale, and so if we wanted to, you know, buy... If we wanted to buy what? Buy pants, pants. Oh, pants is what we're talking about. All right, good, pants, got it. I got it. Oh, I'm sorry, well, I was thinking pants in my brain. Yeah, but that little, you know, the subject was left out. You had the verb, you had the adverbs, you had the introductory clause, you had the pervert, you had all those things, just the subject was left out. Number 3, the wolf crier. Wolf criers make emotionally engaging declarations with no follow-up, or delayed follow-up, or corrected follow-up. A wolf crier makes an emotionally engaging declaration with no follow-up, delayed follow-up, or corrected follow-up. They open up a piece of mail, you're riding in the car, and the wolf crier goes, "Oh no." Oh no what? Oh, nothing. No. It was something I thought. It's not. Well, why'd you say something? Oh, I just let that out. Yeah, but you summoned the attention of the... Or they put, you have got to be kidding me. Got to be kidding you what? Oh, no, you listen to me. There's a sequence. Let me give you this. Let me tell you, if you don't master these, here's the progression. Annoyance, frustration, withdrawal, bitterness, and avoidance. Annoyance, frustration, withdrawal, bitterness, and avoidance. These things seem funny as we talk about them, but over time, it moves from being annoyed with somebody to being frustrated with somebody to withdrawing, just, I'm not going to engage, then bitterness, because they won't stop doing this thing that annoys, frustrates, you know, that they've withdrawn from, and then they avoid. People will literally be married and or family and just tune each other out. And it's so funny because everybody else that's at the dinner table with you, when they see this stuff going on, they're like, oh my gosh, but it's become normal for you all. And I've actually seen husbands mock their wives in front of other people and in front of the children because they've just gone to now belittling her. She's just doing her thing again. And the children will take on that and say, oh, mom's just doing her thing. And now you become an agent for children to dishonor their own parent. Satan is using you to create dishonor. Well, Dad's just in one of his moods. Oh, I don't even want to hear about it. And you actually now become partner in the dishonor in the eyes of your own kids. And you know, this wolf crier thing, somebody thinks and they say, oh no. And here comes the bitterness, because it comes out with sarcasm. I'm not even going to ask, because you're probably going to figure it out. It's no big deal. Or sometimes it is a big deal, but you've trained the person so much to not even pay attention to it. And what starts out with care, I really care, is everything okay? Now there's no response. And then the person starts to get upset. I can't believe they didn't even ask me. Because you've trained them, it ain't no big deal. And that's not an effective way of communication. Yes, okay. Next one, 4, we talked about. The processor. The processor. We got into the processor. I won't review it too much, but the processor basically works through all the issues inside, then springs it on someone. And then they get frustrated and angry when somebody else needs time to process. A processor takes 4 days to think about canceling their 20th wedding anniversary trip to Europe, and goes through all the pros and cons and why it'll do it, what ABC plan will be, blah, 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 and then lays out, look, I think we should cancel our trip, but gives no permission to the other involved person to have any reaction. That's the wrong way to communicate. Number 5, here we go. Let's get to this new stuff tonight. You good?
Yeah.
Okay. You all right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. 5A. There's 2. There's a 5A and a 5B. 5A is the pause talker. The pause talker. The pause talker is someone whose flow of speech is interrupted by multiple trains of thought. The flow of speech is interrupted by multiple trains of thought. That's a pause talker. They start talking. Now, the discovery talker discovers the answers that they already knew, but they're discovering stuff as they're talking. Pause talker is different. The pause talker is talking, and in the middle of that, another train leaves the station. And another train leaves the station, and it's like they're talking on one train, and then they just get off of this other train going. Pause talkers, while talking from one track, pause talkers get distracted by other tracks that are not always related. Sometimes they get distracted by things that are other subjects altogether. That you walked in the room to talk about what are we doing for dinner tonight and saw the laundry basket. Hey, what do you want to do for dinner tonight? I was thinking maybe we should, And what's going on is they're thinking laundry. Did I take that laundry out of the thing or did I leave it up there? And in the room, the people are going, you were saying about dinner? Oh, yeah, what were you thinking about? And they have... They just switched to a whole, it's like the ADD of talkers. It's like, sometimes pause talkers are on deeper levels of thought on the subject at hand. They're on deeper levels of thought on the subject at hand. Sometimes a pause talker goes, their mind goes to a totally different subject. Sometimes they're going to deeper levels of thought of what's going on. Hey, how you doing? Listen, you walk in the kitchen. Sometimes pause talkers walk in the kitchen and say, listen, I was wondering what you wanted to do for dinner tonight. I was actually thinking laundry basket. And so they go, I was actually thinking about, man, did I change the laundry out? This is what's going on inside. Did I change the laundry out? I think I must have. Oh, I got to do whites today. Man, especially if we're traveling. This is going on inside, but the person is still stuck on, you were saying something about dinner? They've hop tracks. Sometimes a pause talker will go to another level. Hey, I was thinking about what we should do for dinner tonight. I didn't know. What they're getting ready to say is, I don't know if we should do Chinese. They say, I don't know if we do Chinese, but before the word Chinese comes out of their mouth, they're now thinking of something else. Either maybe we should do Chinese, but then their thought goes, well, I don't know if I want to do Chinese because, man, remember that last place that we had Chinese? That was terrible. And I don't know where we would even get Chinese. Maybe we could go here, but Chinese may not be that good. But nobody is aware that they've gotten deeper in thought. They came out with, hey, I was thinking maybe we should maybe go out for dinner. And I kind of had in my brain that maybe we should. And they just stopped there, and then they're actually going, well, I don't really want fried food. In Chinese, I'd probably end up getting sweet and sour chicken. That's going to be too much fried food because oh my gosh, I put on my belt today, and I actually went down another loop. I don't want to do that. It's like the engine is running. There's just nobody behind the wheel. They're. And do you have anything you want to say?
I was going to say, you probably could speak very well on this one. Oh, come on. You talked about me all last week, so.
But I didn't say I was talking about you. Oh. I told you, if you just keep smiling looking forward, they have no idea.
This is you.
This is me. No, this is totally me. This is totally me.
He will have 5 different things going on in his mind. And I've learned that when we first got married, it would frustrate me to no end. You're in the middle of a conversation, and he just stops and just stares and is thinking. And you're just like, okay, what happened to what we were just talking about? Hello? And so now I just know in about 10 to 20 seconds, he's going to come back around and pick up what we were talking about, or I can give a cue. So I just wait, and if it takes a little longer, I'll say we were talking about, and he'll jump back in on the conversation. But
that's true. That's true. It's like a dog chasing his tail. You know, it's like I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I'm like, hey, there's that thing, and I just run in my brain. I just run, and she used to get so mad, and I imagine it's like, you know, it was like, what is it? What's the one where you fall asleep? Is it narcolepsy? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
It's conversational narcolepsy. It's like, so anyway, I thought you know, but I don't fall asleep. So anyway, I was really thinking we could. And she would get so angry. Well, remember, there's 5A and 5B, and I'm not going to tell you who this next part is. Pause talkers are usually hooked up with 5B, the interrupter. What is the interrupter? The interrupter fills in blanks in conversations to hurry them along. Interrupters fill in blanks in conversations to hurry them along. They're not at peace with letting the conversation unfold at its own pace.
if it'll ever unfold.
Again, with the mic. Gentlemen, please. First I eat the sacrifice. Interrupters fill in blanks in conversation to hurry it along. They're not at peace with letting the conversation unfold at its own pace. Proverbs 18:13. Let's flip over there, and I'd like to look at this in King James and the Message. Proverbs 18, verse 13. Interrupters, they can't let the conversation just unfold. It's about the objective. It's about, Proverbs 18. Let's look at this.
What it is we got a lot to do, and we just.
Okay, wait. So you just did it. I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle of trying to get a point out. I paused to look at a scripture. Proverbs 18:13. We'll look at this in the King James and in the Message. Let's read King James. Come on. Proverbs 18:13. Sorry. Here we go. He that answereth a matter before he heareth it, it is folly and a shame unto him. No. What? Everybody's like, ooh, bad proverb. God missed it on that one. Ooh. Bible says, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. You'd be surprised how your passion gets agitated because you'll have a speaker that's not effectively transmitting, and then you'll have a receiver that's trying to hurry the transmission. The Message translation, Proverbs 18:13, hopefully they have it up. Answering before listening is both stupid and rude. You guys are mad at me like I put this in the Bible. Oh my gosh, I've never seen, I got hissed at by the church. You see how quick even the media people took it down right quick. I'm going to like that one, Pastor. I'm going to let people read that one. Now, remember, the pause talker does bad behavior. Here's what the pause talker does. Now, when my hand is out like this, it's what everybody's hearing. When my hand closes, is what's going on inside. Hey, Connie, I talked to the Martins the other day, and it looks like, man, I'm thinking, well, if they're going to come on a Friday, that might not be good if I have Summit that weekend. And if I have Summit, that's not going to be good. So, yeah, maybe they should come on a Wednesday. Maybe they could go Wednesday after church. And this. Nobody hears this. Only thing was heard is...
No mouth moving, nothing, just a still.
Yeah. Hey, I was talking to the Martins. They were talking about coming in on a Friday. Man, if they're coming in on a Friday, that's probably not going to work and this and that. Wait a minute, Friday? Oh, I think that's when that movie comes out. We probably need to see that. Anyway, she's not aware of any of this. All she knows is you talk to the Martins and... So what do interrupters do to keep pause talkers on subject? Hey, I talked to the Martins. Are they coming? Well, if you let me, I promise all the facts are contained in what I'm getting ready to say. I talked to the Martins on Friday. They are coming. They bringing the kids? Okay, listen. I talked to the Martins on Friday. They are coming. They are going to bring the children. How long will they be? If you just let me get to... Pause talkers feel like they never get a chance to finish. Interrupters feel like people just can't get to the point. I think we got a lot more interrupters than we got pause talkers. I'm starting to feel a little bias in this. Let me ask, do we have anybody that's a pause talker here besides me? So it means you're a deep, reflective, considering person? How many interrupters do we have? Yeah, just get to the point, Lord. You know what I'm getting? The subtitle of this is, so Pastor, you can cut out 1 page per outline. Yep. Save all that other stuff. Just get to the point, man. Just get to the point. Pause talkers feel like they never get a chance to finish. If you're a pause talker, you feel like, I don't know why, I just can't get out what I'm trying to say. I talked to the Martins the other day. Oh, so what time are we picking them up? I'm going to tell you every detail you need to know. But it's like pause talkers don't want the scenery. Pause talkers sit at a wedding ceremony. Interrupters don't want the scenery. Pause talkers go to a wedding ceremony. Beloved, we are gathered here today to celebrate. And the interrupter's like, man and wife, dude, man and wife, let's go, kiss the bride. They don't care about the mountains and the seas and what true love is when two people come together. They don't care about that, man and wife. But pause talkers appreciate the beauty and the poetry and how great it was, and it's just like, let's just get to it. Severe pause talkers slip into a zone, and they have to be brought back to the room. Severe pause talkers slip into a zone and have to be brought back into the room. Severe interrupters hijack conversations. They hijack conversations. They can see the pause talker coming and they take control. If I ask enough yes and no questions, it'll keep Train Boy from trying to describe anything to me. Yeah, I was talking to my mom about Mother's Day. What time are we going? Well, you don't even know where we're going. Well, where are we going? Anyway, I was talking to my mom about Mother's Day, and she was saying, yeah, what time? And it's like a severe interrupter. They know I don't have 4 minutes to devote to what you're trying to say to me. And I think she spoke truth. We have stuff to do. I got things to make happen. I'm doing something right now. And you telling me this and that, just give me date, time, place, how much it costs, who's going to be there. I don't need to know how your cousin is and how this is going and how that is going. Give me relevant information only, and let me keep moving on throughout my day. There's too many people saying amen to this. There's too many people saying amen to this.
Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead and interrupt me. Go ahead.
No, I'm not interrupting you. I think being an interrupter talker, which is something I'm working on, and hopefully you've gotten better over time, but still something, because I think what happens, you're going to interrupt me?
I'm not saying anything. I was thinking about something totally different. I was thinking if they eat the sacrifice.
I think being an interrupter, one of the things I find out, you know, as Mike and I have grown over the years, and I've noticed probably more so, hopefully not as much now, but there was a period about a year ago, maybe 6 months ago, where he would just start telling me, I'll get to it, just wait, I'll get to it, you know, and I saw how, you know, he would, but I think what it is, being an interrupter, I'm going to be a recovering interrupter.
That's right. It's going to be an IA.
Is that
it's been 11 minutes since I interrupted.
Is that when he starts to talk, even when... Yeah,
Isn't that what they say? It's been 6 months since I had a drink or whatever. Yeah, okay. You heard about the guy that didn't talk to his wife for like 6 months because he didn't want to interrupt? Go ahead.
Are you going to interrupt me? Okay. Anyways, stop. He'll start talking, and all of a sudden, and maybe I'm the only one, questions start going off in my brain. And so as soon as he starts talking, I start thinking of what, when, where, how, and I've got 5 questions going. And so I feel like, what if he doesn't get to that, and I need to know that information? So I just come out with it. What is it? Does that make sense?
Oh, no, it totally makes sense. It totally makes sense. Yeah, but
I need to have a little pad then to write down my 10 questions.
The other side of that is, it's like a movie. It's like you can't watch a movie, and as soon as the main character comes in and say, is she gonna die? We don't know yet. The reason they made that movie 2 hours is so that you can enjoy at the pace that they're going to give you pieces when they decide that the pieces should come, and when it's over, you're gonna go, wow, man, that was a movie. But I discovered interrupters. What's happening? Do you think she stole that? They're gonna let us know at the right time that the reason we watch a movie, we don't. Listen, you don't want to go get the movie thing, and outside they got a little sheet. Okay, she dies at the end, she ends up marrying the other guy. So that's
or
cool.
Or you can ask Elder Raines.
Let's go. Or you can just ask Derek. Yeah, Elder Raines. Elder Raines. We were in Blockbuster one time. I said, hey, this looks good. He goes, yeah, that is good, but she dies at the end. And I was like, no, I swear. I said, well, thanks a lot, Derek, for telling me that. You kind of ruined it. Well, no. I mean, she fakes it. She doesn't really die at the end. It comes out. Okay, we'll just skip that one. We'll skip that one.
Anyways, go on about
the
movie.
Well, I was going to say, when you're, now it's this thing Phil McGraw says. He says, you train people how to treat you. You can actually breed an interrupter. If you're a pause talker, you can actually breed an interrupter. But if you're an interrupter, you can actually cause people to make disclaimers. And the disclaimer that people learn is, look, I'm getting ready to tell you this, let me finish the whole thing. And then when I'm done, you ask whatever you want to ask. And there has to be a recognition that it is true. My discourse may not satisfy what inquiring minds want to know. But there's a chance 3 out of 5 questions are contained in the discourse, and that the 2 that you're paranoid about, we just put a pin in those and leave them right there. And when I say, and you'll actually find that you don't hear punctuation when you're speaking, but we will give notes of when the punctuation is. I will say things like, when I talked to the Martins the other day, oh, they come into town, comma, they said to me that blah 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 blah. And so when I'm done, I will say, period. And that's the signal in a conversation that when you see the end of the sentence come, that's the time at which the other person picks up and says, oh, this sentence didn't contain all of the relative information. I have a relevant related question. So you can breed an interrupter. And I realized that's what I did. And she told me, she said, Mike, I don't think you realize we'll be talking and you will disappear. You will be like the Bible says, Paul says, as absent in body but present in spirit. She said, your body will be here, but your brain will be 50 miles away. And she said, you don't realize it, but I'm talking to somebody who just one day, she said, right in the middle of the conversation, they just float. And so what I realized is I do have to get to the point, but if I've trained her, let me save us both some trouble. Let me just ask what I want to know and save him any of this other stuff that I'm not interested in knowing. When are they coming? What is the time? What is this? It can actually be a form of control on both sides. I can control her by dragging out the conversation and making it painful, or she can control me by demanding that the conversation go at her pace. It's like I have a pace that I want to, well, I talked to the Martins and this and that, and they're doing good. One of the things that happened, and boy, I really didn't tell him about this. I need to, anyway, I'll get, and it's like she's not comfortable at it going at my pace, and so who's going to hang to their selfish perspective? Am I going to hang on to mine? Why don't you just let me finish? Or is she going to hang on to hers? Why don't you just get to the point? Or is there a new level of Christ-likeness, a new level of reduction of self, a new level of refashioning of self that we can both get better? What is the new level of Christ-likeness? That I can grow in this area. I can care enough about her to move more towards meeting her needs and addressing her points. I can be a little bit more aware that, yes, I zone out and I need to stay present. I'm sorry, what I was saying was, I can also give her liberty to go hello without getting all touchy and sensitive, because I've got to realize, yes, I do this. I can't live in denial that I fly away, oh glory. Yes, I do fly away, and I understand that. So my level of Christ-likeness is, I do have this issue. I do follow trains that leave the station. I can, which is how I am. I'm a deep, reflective person. I think of things in layers, but I got to become a better version of me. I just can't stick by, well, this is the way I am, and continue to frustrate people that I love. I've got to become a better of me. But the taskmaster and the to-do list person, who Connie moves at 100 miles an hour all the time, she has become a better version of herself, which is, let me not take this person and treat them like an email, or treat them like Cliff Notes, or treat them just like give me date, time, place, and whatever. There's also times where she can make a note, and she'll actually say, here's her new interruption. Her new interruption is, I'm not going to hijack the conversation, but now what you'll say to me is, I'll say, well, I talked to the Martins, this and that, and talk to the kids. Their kids are doing well. And she'll say, remind me, I want to come back to that point. I have a question there. And it's almost like I've put a pin in the conversation, but I'm still giving you the dignity to let it come out. And that is what has brought us out of a place of frustration, because I'm trying to realize, yes, I can let the other trains leave the station. And for a while, I was like, what are you talking about? I'm right here. And it was like I would have an out-of-body experience and be convinced that I never left. And she was like, you are kidding me. It's been 35 seconds. Oh, 35 seconds. It hadn't been 35 seconds. It hadn't been no more than 20. Whatever. You have been silent. You have fallen asleep conversationally, and I have just been out here. And so what it was is I had to become a better me. By staying present, admitting my own fallibility, and trying to be better. She had to become a better her, which is, and this is how we talk. She'll say, I'll say, oh yeah, I ran into so-and-so, so-and-so. You're not going to believe this. When I was at BJ's, I walk in the store and I see them there, and she'll say, ooh, remind me to ask you about this. We keep the conversation going. It's still coming out. She's still part of it, but she's also putting in things so she's not afraid, because what happens, I think, a lot of times when interrupters aren't allowed to interrupt, they'll go, oh, there was something I was going to say. There was something I was going to ask you in the middle of that thing, but it took you 40 minutes to say 3 sentences. Man, what was that? And so here's the thing. We could both park in our corner and have an area of frustration in our marriage. Or we could grow in Christ-likeness, reduction, and refashioning of self. Do you have anything else you want to add on it?
Just as you were saying, yeah. Because part of it is, sometimes I've noticed, and not all conversations, but sometimes I notice there'll be a subject matter or whatever that will strike a chord with me, or maybe something that I'm anxious about, something fear-related, and I feel, or even something that I have, I guess, maybe been upset about or something, and he'll bring up, and I'll feel like that's the thing I want to make sure we talk about right now. I don't know if that makes sense. And I don't want to I want to make sure that that part is addressed in the conversation before we move on. And interrupting is my way of saying, we're going to address this right now, if that makes sense. So it's a matter of saying, okay, the things that rise up in me as you're talking, just let them simmer, let them get through, you know. And like I said, I might need a little notepad because 10 things go off in my head in a matter of 2 sentences, and I'll be like, okay, I want to remember the 4, and I'll hold my 4 fingers up. There's 4 things I want to talk about.
Or she'll write on the corner of something. I'll be talking and she'll write down just on the corner of something, and she'll say, well, that's awesome. I'm glad you talked to him. What did they say? When are they moving? And it's like it wasn't so urgent that it had to be thrown out at the time, but it was worth making a mental note for. And I know this is so basic, but this helps 2 people that love each other relate and exist better and more peaceably. The other thing I was going to say is I have to yield to give her the dignity that if I've given something, like you said, that's important to you, I can't deprive her of it being important to me. No, I am in control of this. I am talking about this, and what's important to you does not matter. So while she's trying to say, if it's not important, let me back burner it, I also have to give her the dignity that because I know she's doing those rules, that if she does press the issue, I've got to yield to what's important to her, and I can't say that doesn't matter to me. This is both of us becoming better versions of us for God. Does everybody understand? Anything else you want to know? Okay, good. Yeah, that was good. That was good. All right, here we go. We'll do one more. Y'all want to do one more? I don't even care. I don't even care. You guys are asleep anyway. All right, here we go. You have eaten to sacrifice. 6A, the lazy talker. The lazy talker. The lazy talker shows no discipline in the rules of speaking. There are rules of speaking, and the lazy talker doesn't have discipline in those rules. The lazy talker ignores verbal punctuation and transitions. The lazy talker ignores verbal punctuation and transitions. In other words, they'll have commas and periods. They don't have to say the word comma or the word period, but they will run unrelated things together. They'll use pronouns to refer to 3 or 4 different individuals, and you'll get lost on who he is. I talked to the doctor about Jim, and he's not doing well. What's wrong with Jim? No, Jim's fine. The doctor, he's not doing well. Well, how the heck am I supposed to know that? Who is he in this sentence? And lazy talkers don't realize that when they can marry 2 unrelated subjects in a sentence or a paragraph, and it can be devastating information. You know, it's like if your brother-in-law's coming in town, and there's also a great-grandma that's been given a bad diagnosis, and it's grandma that's got the diagnosis, but your brother-in-law that's not going to make it in town. You put those 2 sentences together and it's, oh my God, what's wrong? Well, grandma's not going to make it. No, she's fine. It's Kevin that's not going to make it. Grandma's doing all right. And you end up putting 2 things together because there's rules about when you go on to another subject. And if you've done it right, everybody there should know that there's a new subject. Lazy talkers don't enunciate. They don't care about diction. Lazy talkers will often use distance talking. Distance talking. Lazy talkers will talk across 4 or 5 rooms. And lazy talkers don't understand that the purpose of talking is so the other person knows what it is that you're trying to communicate. And that 3 rooms across with the television and the washer and dryer going and the dishwasher running is probably not the best way to say what it is you're trying to say. Let me tell you, one of the ultimate lazy talkers is somebody that on a cell phone call, when the signal is bad, just keeps on going. And I don't understand that, because I don't want to speak not to be heard. And when I hear there's friction or static, I stop talking. And I go, hey, can you hear me? And if the answer is no, or it's not clear, or whatever, I am done speaking. But I am not going to keep talking and keep talking and keep talking and just get angry. Hello, 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 hey, hello, hey, hello, hello. That's silly to me. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. We can pick this up later on. Now, 6B is the lazy listener. The lazy listener doesn't make an effort to be a good hearer. Lazy listeners don't make an effort to be a good hearer. James 1 says, let every man be swift to hear. That means make an effort to hear. They won't make an effort to be a good hearer. A lazy listener won't search for context clues to stay current in the conversation. Lazy listeners won't listen for context clues to stay current in the conversation. Okay, you may have missed a word, but if you use context clues, you can kind of keep up with what we're talking about. Lazy listeners won't use logic to exclude ridiculous assumptions. A lazy listener won't use logic to exclude ridiculous assumptions. What am I talking about? If Connie's making sloppy joes, and she says from the kitchen, I'm in the family room, she says from the kitchen, have you seen the other manwich can? And I repeat back to her, there's a Jamaican in our trash can. That can be frustrating. And I've discovered, let me tell you what I've discovered, and if you've been married long enough, you've seen this. You can say things that you know are not being communicated, but they're actually a summons to where you are because you don't feel like going where they are. And I do this to Connie. I'll be in the office and she'll be in the bedroom. I'll say, hey, Connie, have you seen what's about things to be what boxing met? She'll say, huh? I say, the boxing thing with the things he talks to me about my computer. She'll come in and she'll say, what are you saying? I'll say, hey, what are you going to eat for lunch? A lazy listener knows they could end the frustration by walking to the room where the talker is. And it's not that they can't, they often won't do it. It's a matter of will. I'm not going to make an effort to hear. Connie was talking the other day, and she said, what's wrong? Jamaican in the trash can?
Stop laughing about it.
It's true. It's like, Mike, have you seen the other manwich can? The Jamaican in the trash can, I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm sorry, it hit me funny.
And then she could get frustrated, like, he knows I'm not talking about a Jamaican in the trash can. And you know what I've discovered about being a lazy listener? If you'll pause, and if you repeat back to yourself, the Jamaican in the trash can, you will realize that is not what she said. And if you'll just put a little effort in Jamaican in the trash can, what are those things? You had some of those that you, those game things that you would, what is it, Mad Gabs or whatever?
Mad Gab.
It's ear juice, whatever it is. It's, I'm trying to think
I can't think of one now.
It's like char, wolves, dart, fin. Char, wolves, dart, fin. Char, wolves, dart, fin. Charles Darwin, and you got to piece together. If you just pause for a second, you know that woman did not ask about a Jamaican living in your trash can. But I found that if I am offended or touchy that she's got the dishwasher and the sink running and is going to mumble something to me from another room, I'm not going to be selfless and get up and say, what did you say? I'm just going to throw back to her something as ridiculous as I think it is to try to talk over the vacuum and everything else. And so she'll say, if she has a vacuum running, Mike, have you seen the Lysol? And I say, it's about 4:30. Why? Because I know that's not what she said, but why are you talking to me over a vacuum? what I'm thinking, then anybody else would click the thing off and eliminate the frustration. But I tell you what, when you're touchy, when you've got history in your relationship, you're actually battling back and forth. There was a volley and a score being kept.
That's good. That's good.
She's talking to me the other day. She said, yeah, Molly's going to watch the babies. So we're going to do this. We're going to go here, and Molly's going to watch the babies. And what I heard was, Mom's got lots of babies or whatever. And when she said, I'm thinking, Mom's got lots of babies. But I've discovered that maybe she didn't enunciate. Maybe she is distance talking. Maybe she does hop to another subject. But if I'll pause, I can justify all day long she's being a lazy talker or he's being a lazy talker. But I find that we could both be selfish with that. But if I would pause, I'd realize, well, Molly is not watching Mom and the babies. She must have said, Molly's got the babies. I mean, you'd be surprised putting a little energy into being a good receiver or being a good transmitter can eliminate frustration. Okay, here we go. The listener can usually solve most misunderstandings with minimal effort. The listener can usually solve most misunderstandings with minimal effort, but when the listener is frustrated or bitter, they'll feel the need for three things. Number one, to point out the lack of discipline in talking. To point out the lack of discipline in talking. Talk to the doctor about Jim. He's not doing well. Sometimes if you know a little bit of the context, you can fill in what she's talking about or what he's talking about. But if you've already offended over the way the lazy talker talks, you'll make an issue. Who is he? When you knew what they were talking about. But you wanted to make a point over, there you go again. Jumbling your words or jumbling your subjects. Sometimes a listener will feel a need to make a pointless statement. Jamaican in the trash can. And it's almost like they're saying, I'm not reaching to make this easy. I'm going to make it difficult. The listener can sometimes feel the need to have humor when it's not appropriate. You have to determine, if Connie's working in the kitchen, whatever, and she says, have you seen the other man which can? And I say, have I seen the Jamaican in the trash can? There may be a time when that's funny. But rushing out the door on Sunday morning, Mike, I was wondering, have you seen my hair dryer? If I'm frustrated and bitter because I didn't hear what she said and the kids are talking, why is she yelling from across the room? That might not be the time to go, your brother's a stinking liar. Well, I was just being funny, or I was just trying to make a point. If you have something to say, come in the room where I am. But you know what? That's a two-way street. How about you see me trying to get two kids ready? Why don't you make the effort to close the gap instead of always demanding me to make the effort? And the last thing I'll say on this, you can be a good listener by repeating when necessary and then citing the reason why you're repeating. You hear something that's not clear, the subject is not clear, the punctuation and your verbal punctuation isn't clear, you've thought about it, you've used context clues, and you can repeat back for clarity. And you can cite a reason why you're repeating back. I find people make this a mountain to die on. They're just going to defend that the person's not speaking clearly no matter what, and they're not making too much effort to make it easy. Mike, have you seen the other manwich can? Jamaican trash can, manwich can. Hang on. Baby, did you say manwich can? I'm sorry, the TV's on. Yes, manwich can. Have you seen that? I think it's over there by the toaster oven. Thank you. That's, if I need her to say it again, that's fine, but it's better than, huh? What? We talked to one couple in the church. It was hilarious. She was upstairs asking him for something. And he was downstairs watching television. And she was asking him for something, and he was rolling his eyes. She's like, hey, can you do this and that? And he goes, huh? What, honey? I'm sorry, what? Not knowing she was looking at him over the balcony, watching him. You remember that? When we were at Carrabba's?
I'm thinking. I don't know. It's funny.
We went to Carrabba's with that couple, and they were
Oh,
telling.
yeah.
She was like, he was so busted. I'm like, sorry, Connie, can't hear you. And she said, I was looking right at the boy, right at the boy. Son, don't do that. That's where people get poisoned in their sleep. Don't do that kind of stuff. But a lazy listener will just let the television keep blaring. They won't even make an effort to. Nowadays, with DVRs and stuff, you don't even have to miss the show. You can pause. But a lazy talker will know somebody's in the middle of something and will put a demand on them to stop what they're doing. It would take 11 seconds, right in the middle of a video game, and yell from six rooms over. Jim, have you seen my so-and-so, so-and-so? What is she talking about? I don't know. Would she call me? And you know what? You'll interrupt what somebody's doing, and really all you had to do was stick your head in the door and say, hey, have you seen the... And this is how, again, both parties could become a little more Christ-like, a little more self-reduced, and a little more self-refashioned, and close the gap. Let me tell you this. Jesus said, where 2 or 3 are gathered together, I'm at peace. When y'all are in agreement, I'm at peace. But James said, where there's strife, Satan says, I feel right at home right here. And it's not your love for your family that's the issue. It's these daily pinpricks and annoyances that build up over time. And how do you know that there's bitterness? The number one evidence of bitterness, sarcasm. Because you'll be there with your girlfriends, and your husband will say something. And they'll say, Connie, I think Mike's calling you. Whatever, who knows what he's talking about now. Or, yeah, he'll be down eventually. I basically just let him talk to himself until he figures out that nobody's listening. Somebody say, that stuff doesn't happen. Sure it does. Sure it does. You actually, over time, just relegate the person to unimportance. When they should get honor, they get lightly esteemed. And a lot of times, divorce is a product of dishonor built up in a person's spirit until it breaks. It just, over years, you just made me feel unimportant. I didn't see effort in relating to me. And I'm telling you, it's usually the last drop. I don't understand what the problem is. Okay, fine, I forgot to call you one time. No. That water balloon was filling up for years and years. And on that thing, it broke. And all the king's horses and all the king's men can't put it back together now. Only Jesus is going to be able to fix this thing. Because I've sat in the counseling. Because while I'm talking, I love you, I'm going to do better. Talk about a train that has left. That train has left. And you ever get a woman or a man that they say stuff like, you know what, I know it's wrong, and God's just going to have to forgive me, but... And you try to go at them with the word, they can't hear the word anymore. The Bible calls it, Malachi 2, treachery in the spirit. It says they've committed treachery of heart. There's a breach in their heart. And usually by that time, the divorce isn't on paper, but it's already taken place inside. Yeah. Got a Jamaican in your trash can?
Not tonight.